driving. Hope comes and stops us in our tracks. Bravely we prove in our striving, trudging together each day. Where there's a will, there's a way.
Hello. I just got to do a quick share. There we go. Keeping this one in the trudging together family today. Yeah. Just as fellow trudgers. All right. Hey, Emma. You're up late. Good to see you. Good to see you. Heck, I'm up late. Now I decided to start this a few minutes early. Also, this again, it's probably going to be kind of a tough topic. And it's a tough topic because it kind of hurts, But we need to talk about these things. Because, when we go through things that are a little bit harder, I find that double downing on God is the way to go. Hey, Chris, good to see you. I saw that you went to the zoo today. Well, at least I saw in a comment from one of my earlier ones you went to the zoo. That's awesome. Way to get out of the house. Yeah, let's do some introductions. And then let's get started on this. Welcome to the Daily Trudge. My name is Dion, and I'll be your host. If you're here, please say hello, whether watching the live or the rewatch. You're not required to. This is an anonymous program, and this is a safe space. So even, of course, if you're rude, nude, or crude, you're gone. But, always feel free to share your experience. I don't have the only experience out there, right? And sometimes we need to hear other experiences also. So, hey, Gary. That's awesome. That's so cool, Chris. That's so cool. Yep, we people in AA, we do things for each other. It's just kind of how we are. I'm just letting somebody else know because usually they've said hi. I want to make sure they're here. So let's go ahead and get started. And of course I'm gonna talk from my own experience, and then it does kind of explain it a little bit in the big book. So the thing is, and tell me if this sounds. Everybody was begging me to get sober. Dion, could you just get sober? Dion, please get sober. I even got a letter from my grandma, a handwritten letter asking me to stop the drinking. Then I stopped drinking and started to get better. Then they all disappeared. They all just went away. And I couldn't understand what that was about. Because see, when I had a heart attack at 42, and while I was in surgery, my family decided to take my wife and talk to her about leaving me. Because my family felt, and this was the non-alcoholics, of course, my family felt that, I didn't really do that. That I didn't deserve her, or that I didn't deserve that kind of love, or to be treated that way, with, I don't know, kindness. Right? And at one point, my brother was even kicked out of the ICU. And I wonder why I had a heart attack. So let's just get down to the nitty gritty. Let's just talk about it. Okay. So a lot of times I'm going to use couples as an example in this. So a lot of times people will come into the program, right? So you usually have a husband, wife, and that's just how I'm going to use it. Let's say the husband's the alcoholic. And then And then you have the wife who is codependent. Okay. Each of these people are spiritually sick, just as spiritually sick. Okay. Because see, a codependent is born a certain way too. Hi Amber, good to see you. All right, they're built a certain way too. And when a codependent finds an alcoholic to take care of, let me tell you what a codependent loves: power, control. They love it. Okay, and that's what they've usually had over us for a long time. Okay, now it doesn't always work this way, but a lot of times I notice that an alcoholic will come in and start to grow, and the other family members do not, and therefore fade away, break up. See, when the family doesn't grow with you, then they start to dissipate behind you. But you can't make these people do that either. You can't make your sons and daughters and your husbands and your wife. Just look how much it took to get through to you on having a spiritual process of making you understand that you had a spiritual malady. Okay. Now I've changed, and I've changed a lot. But now when I'm around those people, I disturb their spirituality, and it's become the opposite. So where I used to be the person that disrupted things because I was doing them incorrectly, I'm now doing them so correctly that that's bothering you also. See, you wanted me here where you could control me. Control. That's what it's all about. This need to control. And we men take it to an extreme. We do. Let me rephrase that. We addicts and people in addiction, we can go to an extreme on that. Okay? So what has happened now is, now that you're not controllable, now that you are not easily manipulated, it is going to start coming out in anger. That's where it'll come out. That is our default. When I cannot find another emotion to use, I will revert to anger, and that's what I do. Okay? And when my anger comes on, so does my trauma. Okay? Patience, tolerance, kindliness, and love. I'm shaking my head because I don't want to either. I'm pretty upset with several people at the moment, and I'm just trying not to cop a resentment. Okay? I don't want to do that. I don't want to go that route. Okay? And I'm going to tell you something. It hurts. It does. And it hurts because we wanted them back. At least I did. Some of them, maybe. I don't know. If that's how they're going to treat me, then I guess not, huh? Then it becomes really tricky when we start getting into steps 7, 8, and 9, when we start doing the forgiveness. Okay? We have to understand that some people don't understand unconditional love. Some people don't want unconditional love. Some people they don't want it. Okay? So what do we need to do in that situation? Well, your recovery comes first. Your recovery's got to come first. If it doesn't come first, then we might as well just go ahead and skip on down to the liquor store, maybe grab ourselves some blankets, because we're probably going to be sleeping outside for the rest of our lives. We go that route, right? And this is really where the part of the 9th step promises starts to come in. Okay. that we can now look at these problems, even though we're going through emotions, okay? But we can now look at these problems for what they actually are. And that makes a big difference. It makes a big difference on how people see us, how people will react with us, okay? But you're going through some things. You are a spiritual being, okay? And the more you work at this, I don't want to say the better you get, but the better you get, the closer you get to God, the more you're probably going to disrupt other people's spirituality, which is good. Why? Because if you present it right, they will start to listen to you. If you shove it down their throat, they're not going to want to listen to you. Okay? But our recovery comes first. Okay? I need to take care of me first. If I don't do that, then I'm not much good to everybody else. Okay? My wife woke me up at 10:30 this morning. I remember she said something like, I don't know if it matters, but it's 10:30. And I said, nope. Because my body was saying, no, we're resting. And it did too. I conked out. No nightmares. No nightmares. Okay? And I've been in this program, for a while. And you just never really know what direction it's going to go. You don't, especially when it comes to people. I think part of the problem with all of that is we get to a point where we're done. That's what it is. Yeah, okay. We get to a point where we start to have these internal boundaries. And so, you probably had somebody in your life that always like try and poke the bear all the time, right? But now they may come around you and they might stop poking because you are no longer reacting to that. And you see no reason to react to it, right? Because in your mind it's now, well, I can see this person going through something and I can empathize with that. Okay? Even when people approach me very, very angry, I still find this calmness in me, which is nice. Because it used to be when people threatened me, it was on. It was on, man. Those were the words. I come from Gen X, man. You say it's fighting time, it's fighting time. But now I've become a different person where I don't have to do those things anymore. In fact, the way I see it is now is if a person approaches me like that and I reproach them the same way, I'm really doing a disservice to that person and to me. Why? Because I know better. And once you know better, you can't help yourself anymore. You can't. Once you come to the realization that life is much different, you can't help yourself. You're going to react that way because it is the natural way to do it. Notice a lot of things that you do now doesn't feel like a fight. Okay? It is because we are no longer blaming people. Oh, well, that person did this. And sure, it made you feel that way, but your reaction is still your reaction. What did I do? Outs. Outs. I don't even know what it is. I can't even feel it. Huh. Well, it didn't happen recently. So, so let's just say it. Let's see it, because what's the answer, right? Isn't that what we're looking for here, the solution? Fuck them. That's what I've had to come to. And I don't mean that meanly. I don't mean that in a mean way. But fuck them. Man, I'm trying to do something different now, and you guys are too. And we don't need other people coming along saying, well, you're this and you're that, and start to take our inventory because they think they might know something better. And isn't it weird when other people take your inventory? Now you're just like, well, you're a little off, but that's kind of true. You're a liar. Well, not today, I wasn't. Because, and this kind of goes along with what I was talking about earlier with honesty and how it works. When you get to a point where you are honest with yourself, those people don't affect you as much. In fact, sometimes people, somebody said to me out of anger a few weeks ago that they unfriended me because I was blasting people and then taking the videos down. And I listened to that. I did. I'm like, yeah, I did. I did do that. You're absolutely correct. I don't owe an explanation. I didn't do anything wrong. It's my channel. It's my Facebook. I can do what I want. It's called free speech, and I get to have that. And you don't get to come in and decide that differently. Oh. All right, I think it's time bleeding. I'm a bleeder. That's what happens when you take blood thinners. You bleed more. So, you can't just be like, well, fuck them. But you do have to have a point where it's just like, you know what? I've got to move on with or without this person. And those are internal boundaries. And that's kind of what you've been seeing me do over the last few weeks. I'm seeing some things. And I just no longer will accept bullshit. I just won't. I won't accept bullshit or disrespect, especially in my own home. I will not do that. Right? I will also not come over to your home and disrespect it. Right? So as God's children, we stand on our own 2 feet. We don't apologize for what we do. I'm not going to apologize for saving other people's lives. I'm not. Does it take a lot of time? You bet your ass it does. You bet. My work takes me away from my wife all the time. Her work takes her away from me all the time. She's a caretaker. We have that give and take. We also have nights that it's just us. It's supposed to be tonight, by the way. Yeah, Amber, huh? Now you know why I love my wife like I do, huh? Yeah. She's got a bigger spirit than me. People don't know that. I'm not the driving force in our relationship. She is. I learned from her. It was my wife that taught me love. See, that was the difference. Whereas my family was trying to get my wife to leave me because they thought that would help me quit drinking. I'll tell you what would have happened. I would have killed myself. The only reason I was even around, I decided that I was moving out to California to kill myself off. And my wife found me out there. She wasn't my wife, but Shannon found me out there. Brought me back. She's probably the only person in this world that could have done that to me. Don't tell me that God isn't working in my life. Okay? I fell in love with that woman when I was 17. Long time ago. And we fit together. Okay? So what was the difference in that? Well, my wife would tell me, well, I knew that Dion when he was sober before. So I'm just going to keep loving you until I get him back. And it worked. And it worked. No, I don't know that anything else would have done it for me. Okay? What I kept hearing her say was, I love you, I love you, I love you. And I loved her too. So I decided I'd get well. And I did. People disagreed with that too. Guess what? I'm fucking here. I'm still here. Still here. Must have worked. It must have worked. Okay. So you're going to have a lot of naysayers that come across your path. They're not going to like what you're doing. They don't want you to change things. They're comfortable in their own misery. And unfortunately, we're going to have to leave them there. Okay. Does that mean we're not available anymore? No. Well, it depends on the situation. I'm talking generally, right? So, so the main reason that our loved ones sometimes can't accept our sobriety is because it disturbs their spirituality, or maybe you've gone beyond a point where they cannot manipulate you or control you anymore. Does that make these people bad people? No, it makes them spiritually sick like you and me. And when we understand that, we can start loving appropriately. Even when we're upset with somebody, we can still love them appropriately. I have some things going on with my brother. Do I love him? I love him as a child of God. And I can do that because he's a child of God. So when I switch it to that, then my brain can start to work through those things. It can start to recognize that I was going a little wrong over here. Start to recognize that maybe Dion needs some peace from Dion. That was the key. I had to kind of leave me alone, right? So, just when I go through those things, what I do is I call it double downing, and that's when I double down on God. Okay, if something good happens to me, I double down. If something bad happens to me, I double down. Because just because something bad happened to me, am I going to go through those feelings that hurt? Yes. But it is still a learning experience. It is an experience telling me, Dion, do not repeat this again. Okay? And I can learn from that because I'm being honest with myself. And that's all that fucking matters. That's all that matters. You don't need to be honest with anybody else. Okay? It's a natural thing. If you are honest with yourself, then that's what's going to come out of your mouth. Not all the time. Remember, lying is a habit. I mean, it's probably going to happen again. Correct it. I'll give you a great example. For the longest time, I don't know where this came from. Actually, I do. I used to tell people I was related to Donnie and Marie Osmond. Half of you probably don't even know who they are anymore. All right? They were a famous brother and sister singers. They were Mormon. And that's what made it believable. Because I was from Utah. Ah. Why did you pick Ozzy Osbourne? That's not believable. Okay? Did anybody give a fuck? No. So one day I'm telling this to somebody, and my mom goes, Dion, we are not related to Donnie and Marie Osmond. I'm like, we're not? Oh, shit. I told it so many times that I now believed it. This was years ago, 30 years ago. Right? But it's still a very pertinent example of our lying and how if we say it enough, it's going to stick in our heads. Okay? You're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid. Guess what? That repetitiveness gets into your head. And so when I say it's important what we say to each other or say to ourselves, right? I don't call myself stupid anymore. I used to, man, if I made a mistake, I used to rip into me. because I thought if I did that, I wouldn't do it again. 10 minutes later, there I am doing it again because I didn't learn from it. All I did was all I did was reinforce my negativity by doing that. Okay? When I was about 3 years sober, I stopped calling myself an asshole. Guess what happened? I stopped being an asshole. Weird. Now, when I talk about myself, I think I'm a pretty astute guy. I don't think highly of myself. I'm still working on my self-esteem. Probably will be the rest of my life. But that's okay. Because now when I go look in the mirror, I like what I see. Hi, Marty. Welcome, man. Let's see what Marty has to say here. I always love new people here. So it's good to have you. First time watching, need to be here for a reason. Don't have an addiction. You don't need to be. But I'm badly going through a city which I feel is hard, which I feel is just hard to have God and bad days been put. I'm sorry, my reading isn't best today either. So have God and bad days, but been in the dark part of the tunnel. Oh man, I'm sorry. That stinks, man. Well, I'm going to tell you that, there's people in recovery here, but I'm going to tell you, it doesn't, Marty, you're always welcome. You're always welcome. The way that I see it is, even though I'm talking about sobriety and alcohol and those things, the rest of what I'm talking about could work for anybody. How I deal with my anger, how I work with my emotions. This is for everybody. I don't just help alcoholics. I help anybody that comes across my path because I have experience in that. I can remove my alcoholism from it and have a conversation with you. So, Marty, what I appreciate, number one, was that you were telling on yourself. Good job. That's hard to do. And to come into a group of people you don't even know, that's even harder. So I got to give Marty a little respect here. And Marty, double down on God, man. Go help another person. I know maybe what you're going through is kind of hard, okay? But when we take that hardship and we go work with somebody else, then it becomes a we thing, and that hardship you're going through doesn't feel so lonely, okay? And I can tell you every single person here would be willing to talk with you, okay? We're called Trudging Together. Feel free to join us, man. There's plenty of people that come on here. We call them normies, and I don't even like that. So, but welcome and thank you very much for sharing that. Like I said, I have a lot of respect. Yeah, that's the hard part, isn't it, Marty? Find the person that will help you. My mind's, I'm trying to think of some solutions for you. Well, why don't you keep reaching out? I'm not sure your situation, and this is also kind of anonymous. So you are more than welcome. Feel free to send me something in Messenger. It'll be kind of tough for me to talk this evening. But if there's anybody else here that would be willing to talk with Marty this evening, please put your phone number in the chat. I'll even hang out if I need to do that. So if you feel like you could help Marty this evening, Marty, also feel free to DM me, and then I will give you my personal phone number. All right, but I'm glad you're here. Okay, now I know why I did this. Now I know why. See, it isn't just about us. Everybody out there is feeling lonely. And you could be the only person that came along and just said, hey, man, are you all right? Do you need somebody to talk to? Okay. We have a man who's reaching out. Yay, men's mental health. Thank you, God. Thank you. One way or another, we will get you some help, Marty. Okay? All right. I don't want to end it. That feels too up in the air for me. I can't end it like that. We've got to wrap up with some hope here. God, let's wrap up with some hope. So God, gotta give it to me, man. All right. I love you. I know. You say I don't even know you, but I do. I do know you. You're all like brothers and sisters to me. Okay? And the love that I have for you is deep and unconditional. And I know things can be hard. I know things can be really, really hard. But I want you to know you're not alone. You're not alone. And that includes Marty. That's the thing about AA. We have something in it says when anyone, anywhere reaches out for help, I want the hand of God to be there. Did you know that that's actually how it goes? Not hand of AA. I want the hand of God to be there. And guess what? For that, I am responsible. I am responsible for that. All right. I'm praying for you guys. So, all right. I've never had this hard of a time closing. So, maybe I should just close it with, we can do this, and we can't give up. We can't give up, right? And Marty, feel free to reach out to any of us. Okay. So I got to wrap it up. I'm not getting any huge words of wisdom, which means this is kind of where God wants me to end it. So thank you, everybody, for being here. Please keep supporting each other. And thank you for taking your time and listening to me this evening. Thank you for everything. I love you all. Peace out and have a day. Bye-bye.